Hello and welcome to another Pocket Process or Project Life Process video. Today I am continuing the layout that I did on the video that came right before this one in my channel. This one is called Project Life Process August Part 2. And so this one comes right after August Part 1 for 2025. In this one, I am documenting the single day in August when we took our daughter to drop her off at university. And so I documented this at the same time as I did the previous layout, but the video was just getting so long that I decided to cut this one down into another video. So this one is a quick snapper because although it is a full page spread, it doesn't have any interactive elements, just this one piece of ephemera. I'm going to take this banner or pennant or whatever you call this thing. I'm going to sew it onto a piece of acetate. This is acetate that I had left over from the page that I did before. I did this interesting little flip pocket card that used acetate to make like a floating flip. And so I'm going to use some of this leftover acetate to be the thing that will connect this pennant into my Project Life album. So I just spaced out, like I traced where the page protector holes would be. And I'm using my We Are Memory Keepers 1/4 inch hole punch to just punch those holes in place. I'm going to cut this down because I only needed to span 2 holes. I don't need it to be the full length of a page protector because the banner itself is pretty short. So I am now in need of a way to adhere this to the acetate. I could glue it, but I'm not going to feel very confident with any kind of glue. So I'm just going to grab my sewing machine and run it through my sewing machine. You'll see some footage of that as well as a bit of an alternate angle. My plan for this is that the next time I go to campus, I want to try to track down another one of these so that I can basically have 2 of these back to back, because as it is right now, the back side of this doesn't look very nice. It's just unfinished felt in white and it just doesn't look very nice. So if I can sandwich that acetate between 2 pennants, that would be even better. But for now, it'll just be the one. And if that's all it is, that's fine. The edges of acetate can be pretty pointy and sharp. So I just rounded the edges with my corner chomper, and that will just go in between my 2 pages. I'm putting it in my album right now just so that I don't forget it or lose it in the mess of supplies that are on my table right now. So as you can see, all the photos are all spread out now, but what I need to do is figure out which of these 2 QR codes are for which. So one is a brief video of the kids who greeted us at the parking lot to tell us where to go to park. And then the other one is a video of Sophie running through this line of people who were welcoming her to campus as a resident. So once I've scanned them, I know which is which, and I can put them on the appropriate photo. So I'm playing around with where to put this one, and I can't quite decide where to put it up here in the corner, where it, like up on the trees here. At least it's not covering anything super important. I didn't want to cover people's hands. I didn't want to put it centered on the street because or the crosswalk or the sidewalk, I guess, because that's where she was running. I just didn't like it there. So I put it up there because it was covering the least important things, just the trees. And I'm talking a little bit to the tiaras as I am laying this out and explaining some of the stories behind these photos. I also have this little lookbook type of thing that the university sent us. She ended up with 2 of these, and I think she has one of them up in her bedroom, but I grabbed one of them because I figured I might be able to get some Project Life images or something out of it. So it turns out all of the inside things are very specific. So I'm just going to grab a 4x6 piece from this outside image from the cover. So we'll start by tearing the cover off of the little booklet. And then as you see, I have this piece of pre-cut acetate in the 4x6 size. I keep these pre-cut acetate pieces for a variety of different things. I'm going to cut this to 4 inches wide, and then I'm cutting it to 6 inches. And I did it differently than what I was expecting, but it's okay. I can go with the mistake. So those pieces of acetate are really great for just visualizing what a 4x6 piece of something will look like. So I'm going to start with this, which is going to be my title page for the whole spread. And what I've decided to do is actually grab an Ali Edwards kit. I have a bunch of Ali Edwards kits. I think you're going to see the whole kit and caboodle of them. I think I'm grabbing them right now, and that's why I'm absent for so long. There it is. Yeah, so I keep these. These are old story kits from Ali Edwards. These are themed 4x6 and 3x4 inch pocket cards. And there's one called Transitions that I thought would be perfect for the theme of this spread. So I'm taking this piece of acetate, not acetate, it's actually one of those thick acrylic pieces. It says Transitions. And I'm just going to stick it right there in pretty much the center of this picture of the campus from, I guess, a drone shot or something. And I've arranged my photos so that on the left-hand side, we have all of the photos of us packing up and getting ready to go. And then on the right-hand side of the spread, we have all the photos from our arrival up until when we left. And so there are all these cute little embellishments that come in the Transitions kit, and they're all very relevant to the stories that I'm trying to tell. So perfect, right? That black star that I'm putting on is pointing to the horizon. It kind of crest over the hill, and you can see the ocean, and Antigonish is down there. So it says Into the Unknown on the black heart there. I have another little speech bubble that says Being Brave and Making a Change. That's the yellow one. And I'm basically just rooting through all of the supplies and keeping in mind anything that might be relevant. A lot of these cards are about more difficult transitions than this one. I didn't, even me who is, obviously I'm going to miss my kid. I still didn't find it that difficult of a transition because she's only 2 hours away. And she comes home. She was home for Thanksgiving, and she'll be home for reading week, and she'll be home for Christmas, and she'll be home for the summers. So, and also there are relatives that live nearby. So she's okay and safe and living her best life. And so I was not terribly sad about this day, but a little sad. I have to admit, I was a little sad. I'm having a look at the 4x6 cards here and just picking out anything that I think might be relevant. There's also these little phrase stickers that are clear. And it's not immediately apparent which ones I might want to use, but I'll sort it out as I go. First, I'm just familiarizing myself with what's in the kit, and then I will start, placing things. So we've got a speech bubble that will go here that I'll write something on to just explain what that photo is. And then I have this photo of the car stereo that displays the I Would Walk 500 Miles song, Gonna Be, I think it's called. And basically I'm just spreading things around, trying to, what I'm keeping in mind here is balance. I want to be repeating color. There's a lot of black, heavy, or really, really dark green items in this kit. So I want to make sure that those kinds of heavier things are spread around the page and not all jumbled up in one spot. And I'm also just wanting the embellishments to tell a lot of the story here, because this is at the end of, I think it was a 6-hour live stream of me scrapbooking a bunch of pages. And I'm kind of running out of steam, and I don't have a whole lot of stories left to tell. So it's going to be mostly just photos and captions, not a whole lot else. And I do like my photos to tell the majority of my story anyways. So I think that that's perfectly fine for some of your pages to be that way. So this is that speech bubble that says Being Brave and Making a Change. I'm just going to outline it so that it sits nicely on that little 4x6 photo. Now this is that heart that says Into the Unknown. My original plan was to repeat the hearts in different places on the page, but it turns out there was no other place to put one, so there's only one heart, and that's fine. I'm going to use this XOXO card. I love how it goes from light green to dark green. My little tray is covering it right now. But I'm just looking for what kinds of things I might want to embellish this change card with. It has change at the top and then a whole bunch of words for change. And at first I found this wax piece from an MTK kit, but then I noticed this ampersand and I really love the ampersand. So although I like the look of both, so I keep them both out because I do really like the look of both of them. I ended up deciding to go with the ampersand because it just looks more bold. You can still see the words, like you can't see exactly someone was just asking me a question about that, so I'm answering that. You can't see exactly the words, but you can make sense of what the words are. You can tell by just reading it and knowing that the theme is change. So I'm just using regular adhesive. I'm using my Tombow tape runner here to lay that ampersand down. And I'm pretty sure the ampersand came from another Ali Edwards kit, but I wouldn't be able to tell you which one because I don't remember. I'm going to cut down this photo of the car stereo. There's a lot of glare on it, but if you look really closely, you can see what song is playing. And I don't necessarily want to put the QR code with that because it is a completely different memory and it looks like the QR code is maybe going to lead you to the song or something, and it doesn't. So, pardon me. I'm going to stick down that wood veneer flower that came in the transitions kit from Ali Edwards. And now I'm just going to grab my journaling stencil because I want to put some journaling beside this photo. So we'll just grab that stencil and lay it down like that. And then I am going to use a pencil just to get those lines in place. And I know I don't need too many of them. What my journaling says here is road trip to Antigonish with a lunch stop in Truro, listening to I'm Gonna Be, a la How I Met Your Mother. And we were just talking about how this song just came on the radio. We didn't choose to play it, but it reminded us of the road trip the guys took and how I think it was Ted, just played that song over and over again. I can't remember the storyline for that. I just remember the song was on repeat and it was a road trip that the guys went on. It was a nighttime road trip, I think. And so here we go. The first page is pretty much done. Now let's move on to the second page. As I said, this is a really fast one. My goal here is to get these photos into my scrapbook so that I can, make sure that August is complete. It didn't feel right to just pick one photo or a couple of photos to represent such a big day in our lives, but I don't really have a whole lot of stories to tell. I did already tell a pretty big story about this transition in my Book of Me project, which has more journaling in it. So I don't really need to go into this in huge detail. So we added some embellishments, a wood veneer, and another one of those little speech bubbles. And I just wrote X-ring bonding because they will both, Scott went to that university too. So when you graduate from there, you get an X-ring and they will both have one. So they're bonding over that. And then on this one, I'm putting a speech bubble that says a new story beginning. That's just a photo of Liv helping her sister with the bags into the room. Now, this is a photo of the dorm that she stays in. And it says transitions. Here's the story right now. And there's no story. It's just a photo, but that is the story. Add another little heart, a little flower, to that one. And really the QR codes are the only really interactive part of this. So you can scan those and watch the videos that go along with the photos for those ones. I'm going to put some extra stickers on the insert from the last spread. So this would be, if you watched the other video, you saw this one come together already. But I had those stickers out, so I thought I would add a few to the other layout. And now I'm also going to add a few of them to this, just every here and there. This one says no other day quite like today. And I just placed it so it followed the line of the sidewalk. That one right there says free. And this one says 100%. This one says, remember this day. This one says on repeat because it's a song, so I thought that was appropriate. And that one says memories of today. And that's just a 3x4-inch filler card that I just glued the QR code to, just plain and simple. You'll have to scan it to see what it is. I don't even explain what it is in my project, so it'll be like a mystery. Thought about using those clear phrase stickers, but I decided not to. So because this is a shorter one, I did include the pocketing part of it. So I always find it satisfying to see these come together. So I'm leaving this footage in. I keep my trimmer handy because I often have to end up trimming down some of these cards in order for them to fit in to the pockets. And I like to err on the side of trimming it just because if you try to scooch it in there too much, if you shove it in, then whatever has to lie behind it is sometimes hard to get into the pocket. So the pennant will sit right there, and then these ones will go in the back of the spread that I just did right before this. So they'll go like that. Lots of trimming to get everything to fit. Some of these photos I just trimmed up so quickly that I wasn't paying attention how big they were ending up. And then the title, I love how the title looks with that word across the photo, and that's how the whole spread looks. So before we jump into the final photos, I want to give a quick shout out to my amazing Patreon supporters. These folks truly help make this channel happen, and I'm so grateful for each and every one of them. Tiaras get ad-free early access to all of my process videos, plus real-time unedited versions, often in the form of live streams. They also get exclusive behind-the-scenes content from my craft room and sneak peeks of what's coming up and so on. So thank you also for watching all the way to the end. Again, I'm MercyTiara, and I love sharing my process with you, my full creative process, including all the little decisions that I learn along the way. Be sure to check out the links at the end of this video and dive into my collection of process videos. I hope that you enjoyed seeing this page come together. Take care and have a really great scrappy week.